Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Farah and I'm a bug bounty hunter. In today's video, I'm going to be interviewing someone who's really active in the bug bounty community. He's one of the top hackers on HackerOne and Bugcrowd, and he's found critical bugs on programs like PayPal, Snapchat, Tesla, and many more. More importantly, he's all about giving back to the community and he's all about sharing resources. So if you're interested, then please continue watching. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining me on my channel. I'm very honored to have you as my guest.
Thank you, Farah, for interviewing me. It's also my honor. Actually, I found your video by luck on LinkedIn, and when I first seen it, it was saying like bug bounty by Farah. Farah is an Arab name, so I was somehow surprised. I thought someone is Arab is doing video bug bounty. But when I opened the video, I've seen the confidence. I've seen that you are trying to explain people the easy way, the straightforward way. I didn't like that some people disliked the video, disliked the efforts you did. So I was happy to make an interview with you to encourage you and also to encourage all of the new bug bounty hunters that are trying to make their scene now.
The whole purpose behind making that video was just so that the things I wish I knew, I'm just telling people who are starting out, because I wish I knew these things when I started and there was someone to tell me these things. Can you give us a quick recap of your journey?
Well, actually, it was based on my career. Like I got in the security and bug bounty based on my career. I used to be a network specialist, a voice over IP specialist, a technical support. Bug bounty came by accident. Like I've been working on something on Facebook. I believe I made a mistake on the path of the URL or something. Suddenly I've got a response of multiple users, emails, phone numbers, PO boxes, details that I realized I shouldn't see. I reported it. Suddenly, like after 2 days, they gave me $1,500. So from that bug, from Facebook, I came to know also the Bugcrowd, the platform, and the journey started from there. That's why, let's say, for the latest 3 years, I'm a bug bounty hunter.
How sustainable is it to be a full-time bug bounty hunter now in 2020?
Yeah, of course, it's challenging now. In 2020, it's the bug bounty scene now is not like 2 years back, 4 years back. It's still a risk because you might have like a good month and get a lot of bounties, and you might have another month that you find nothing. So make a trial period. Try it for like 1 month or 2 months. If you see it's not doing well, you shouldn't leave your job, because the job, it's a fixed income for you, not like the bug bounty. Still, people don't appreciate being in a work environment. Like when you are working as a cybersecurity engineer or an information security administrator, it's actually a privilege because you are working for like a big companies. They invest in their products, their own solutions. You get to test those products. Working on those products and those technologies, it's also an added value for you. Because you never know when you are hunting on another program that you will find the same product you did as a POC.
So do you think this pandemic and everything that's happened has helped you grow more in bug bounty since you're doing it full time now?
In the pandemic, actually the bugs were more, because most of these companies, they started to go with some internal assets to it became
clouds,
public.
Everything.
Yeah, regardless if it's a cloud as a service or if it's an internal server, and they want their employees to reach it, so they give it a public IP. So this server that has never been scanned by a vulnerability scanning or something has suddenly become online, and it's a juicy target for attackers.
The scope has increased amazingly. Okay, so we were talking about this, your ServiceNow bug. I just wanted to ask you, I mean, it was such a great bug, and if you find a vulnerability and then you want to mass scale it, how do you go about doing that?
Actually, I wasn't looking. I had my priorities in one of the programs I actively hack on. During my recon, I found something for that program under ServiceNow in the CNAMEs. This is the reason why I explored the ServiceNow, because I actually was working on another program. I said, okay, let's give it a try. The first step was to bypass the SSO. They had an SSO, so when you are opening the site.servicenow.com, it was sending me to Okta or one login SSO. I tried to play with that to do like a proper directory search, brute forcing before getting redirected. And this is something important. I found an endpoint that I can actually interact directly with ServiceNow. So now I made an X on the SSO. It became useless. I can interact with the ServiceNow. The next step I did is I tried to find whatever endpoints I can find in ServiceNow. Since I don't have username or password, GitHub has been always my friend. So I knew if I go to GitHub and write ServiceNow alone, I will find a lot of links, a lot of endpoints. One of those endpoints was the knowledge base. So I took it and I added it to my site that I was working for the program, and it opened and it told me article not found. Okay, so now I said, okay, there is nothing, no authentication. What if I brute force these numbers? It's a reference for an article. It didn't take a lot of time for this company. Like when I ran intruder in Burp, maybe after 4 or 5 minutes, I had a list of endpoints articles containing attachments, internal procedures, passwords, configurations. It was critical. So I reported this bug to the company. I wasn't in a hurry. I thought it might be a misconfiguration for them only. In another side, my friend was with me. He told me we might found a 0 day in ServiceNow. I told them, okay, let's investigate first. Based on that, it's easy for you to know how it's the services provider, company name, .servicenow.com. All you have to do is gather a company names from Alexa to domains or a proper subdomain scanning. So I started to take multiple companies, big companies, and adding this on endpoint to see if it opens or not. And it actually opened on maybe 90% of them. I will give a salute for Indeed as an example. Indeed, it didn't work for them. They had that properly configured, So it worked for most of them. So that's the trigger. Like, okay, now I have to do this and start reporting. No one knows about this bug so far. And you have to use this time to report it and get the proper bounties with a help. Collaboration helps in bug bounty. You should have a close friends that you can work with. So they helped me gathering those companies. So, it's not also an easy bug. You have to run everyone on intruder and sort these articles, which is important and not. And it worked out for us. We reported for almost 26 or 27 bug bounty programs. It made up to 30K in 2 days, and we still have maybe 4 or 5 reports still under fixing.
I think I read that it took you 2 days to report. Just the reporting process took you 2 days. That's crazy to me.
We didn't sleep. We didn't sleep because we didn't want this to go from our hands.
I mean, it's amazing. You can find one bug and mass scale it and define the impact.
And one more thing, when I told you about work, even though this is the first time I'm testing ServiceNow, I knew I might find some changes, requests, some configurations, some internal communications between the technical support or IT support because it's an ITSM used by the IT team.
Yeah, I think everything comes from a lot of experience, and with you have the knowledge in such diverse topics that it all pays off in bug bounty very surprisingly.
Exactly, yes.
Yes. Okay, you spoke about GitHub, and GitHub has always been your best friend. But what do you do differently in your recon process now?
Well, you can say technologies change, people don't change. So still till today, it's 2020 and still people are putting some stuff that they shouldn't put in GitHub, especially in the pandemic, by the way. Some people were putting the VPN credentials. When you're having a VPN credentials, it's not about the public. You are now internally. You are internal in the company. GitHub is not only for passwords or for secrets. You can find a lot of endpoints there for a technology, for subdomains. In the last period, I'm using it for endpoints. It was very valuable in that you are doing a pen test on a program or something that it has an API, and they are not giving you the documentation for that API in the program. So you are lost actually. While you can take the same site and put it on GitHub, you will find their own developers just give you the full documentation about the API endpoints. So for endpoints, it's very, very valuable.
Okay, so you talk about your recon process. This is you find your endpoints, you find your source code, everything on GitHub. What is your methodology to look for bugs after finding those endpoints, after finding that source code? What is your methodology like while bug hunting?
Currently, I go to any subdomain that send me to a redirect, like with the 302 status, or 401 that ask for basic authentication, or the 403, the forbidden one. Because I know most of the hackers will not go to those. They will focus on the ones with a response, with an application, and they will start register, sign up, doing this, doing that. I can do the same, and I can find bugs. But if I want to be special or find something no one else found, I have to go on a, let's say, a hard areas that no one expects to find bugs there. So I had success with that. Let's say we have farah.test.com. When you are opening farah.test.com, it will send you to sso.test.com. You will have then to log in with your corporate credentials. If it's okay, it will send you back to farah.test.com, the web application. Only takes from you to run a proper word list, the raft word list as an example in the sec list, run it on the main domain. You will find yourself having an endpoints for the application. You can communicate with the application. There is no need for the SSO. And it happened for me, like in PayPal, I got almost 80 or 90K dollars for 3 reports with the same mentality. If you look at the report itself, it's not a rocket science. Like sometimes when you are posting something on Twitter, I got to 20,000. Oh, he shared 5, 6, 7 bugs from low severity and make it. No. It's just an endpoint that should be protected, and it wasn't. And it gave me access to something that I shouldn't see. So that's an area. And the other areas, as mentioned, it's the same methodology. For forbidden, it's forbidden for a reason. There is something they don't want you to see. Take some time and look there. The basic authentication, one of the things that people do, they are brute forcing the basic authentication. Happened also for me. I don't have to brute force. They still also have endpoints reachable that will not ask for basic authentication.
I think that's a great mindset. It means like you don't have to be super technical to get a high severity bug. You can just make it more impactful, and that's about it. Yeah.
No, to be simple, and don't look at a company like, okay, this is a big company, it will not suffer. This is a very big company, of course they will configure the SSO the right way. No, the big ones are the most ones who are doing mistakes. Not you. If you hack on a small company, you will have security. It will be secured more than the big ones. The big ones has a lot of assets, a lot of areas, a lot of teams, a lot of departments, and there is constant changes in their environments. So they are prone to make mistakes more than other companies. But you just do the basic work. At the end of the day, if you open the activity in HackerOne, you will find some genius ways of thinking, some good. There are some reports still today, and I have a good experience. There are some reports I don't understand. I read it and I really don't understand. I say, okay, what does that mean? But that's not all. If you open other ones, you will find it was simple. Like finding the bug was simple. If anyone just spent the time and look at that area, regardless if it's SQL injection or XXE or information disclosure, you will read the reports, you'll say, okay, how did I miss that?
You just need to have the right impact. The impact has to be something that affects the company, and I think that's what makes it a good bug. It doesn't have to be technical.
And most importantly, to know what you are looking for or what your strength. Me personally, like I look for information disclosures, for authentication bypass, and for privilege escalations. This is my 3 strength points. So when I'm telling you information disclosure and authentication bypass, this is alone should let you know, like, okay, how he's thinking. Information disclosure, that means he is looking in GitHub or regardless, or trying to expose data that he shouldn't see. Authentication bypass, that means the examples I gave you. He takes a site that have a login or protected by an SSO login, and he tried to bypass that. So why I'm looking on the statuses I told you about, or this technique specific stuff, because I look for this kind of a bug. Privilege escalation or IDOR are the easiest type of bugs that you can explain to a newbie. It doesn't have to know programming or know languages, or it's just a matter of Okay, you get this number, try to change it to another number. If another data comes to you, that's something unauthorized. As simple as that. The IDOR, the privilege escalation, you don't have to be a wizard to know, okay, register in this website as a low user and gather the endpoints. Then go and log in the same website with an admin and gather the same endpoints or the additional endpoints. Then log again with a low user and try to open those endpoints. If it opened for you, the admin ones, it's a privilege escalation. Now, it might be hard for you to do it manually. In Burp, there's an extensions for the same. But what I mean, you don't have to be a wizard.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, there are so many resources and it's so confusing now that you don't know where to focus. So I think for beginners, a tip would be to just find your strength, stick to it, and get better at that.
Yes. You have a lot of examples. Doggy G and Verizon, he loves SSRF. That's why he focused on SSRF, how to bypass the filters, how to bypass the fixes in order to submit a lot of reports. Once you like something and love this something, invest more time in it and it will return back for sure.
Yeah. So a lot of top hackers talk about this escalating impact, and they're always saying that if you find a low severity bug, you should always do something and escalate the impact. Don't submit the low severity bug. But I think for beginners, it's very hard to do that because they spend a lot of time getting their first bug. And if it's a low severity bug, there's just like a temptation, like I want to report it and get a small bounty. So have you ever experienced that? How do you approach that mentality?
Even if you find a low severity bug and you want to chain it with other bugs to make it a higher impact, if I'm talking about a new researcher, he barely knows this thing, like he's still starting to learn. In order for him to escalate, he needs to know more techniques or more stuff. So it's hard for him. No, I encourage him to report it. Okay. You don't have to sleep on it until you chain it with something else. If you wait on it, it will be a duplicate. So you lost the initial finding for yourself. And as an example, big example, cross-site scripting. Everybody knows that cross-site scripting can be escalated to account takeover. Everybody knows it's by default. If I send you now and you are logged in, if I send you now a link with an XSS, I will get your cookies. Yes. But still, when you are reporting it to the program, they will not consider it as an account takeover. They will consider it as a cross-site scripting. It doesn't matter. So no, don't waste time on that. Rather, I believe, spend the time to find critical and high bugs rather than chaining. If you find something, just report it and go look for something more severe.
I think a lot of people just put pressure on themselves and don't...
The thing is, you are not having only 4 or 5 programs to hack on.
Yeah.
Like, it's not only 4. You are talking about maybe 1,000 or more than 1,000 programs to hack on. What's the odds for you to find a good bug or a critical bug or a high bug in another program? It's high.
So what do you think the future of bug bounty is? And also, do you think artificial intelligence and machine learning and all of these technologies are a threat to bug bounty? What are your views on that?
I believe technology helps. Like currently, technology helps to cover a big part. Now it's a challenging, by the way, thing to find bugs. But I don't believe in the future bugs will disappear. Like maybe they will find a way in AI or other technologies that can, let's say, detect the low severity bugs like cross-site scripting, SQL injections, this stuff, or let's say studying your code before it's getting published on the internet, even though it's currently there. If companies using, like there's softwares and technologies that can do that assessment before you push your code online. Later on, it will be in the process, in the operation process for the IT, but still technology cannot defeat your brain when it comes to business logic bugs, when it comes to privilege escalations, stuff that has to do with the business itself, like a bug in the system itself, not a program in a programming language or something. I don't believe technology will affect the bug bounty. GitHub as an example. I believe there is some solutions that can study this GitHub based on even the dark web forums. There is a technologies that you pay and they do the job for you. Still, they are failing to think like a normal person when it comes to dorking on GitHub or dorking in Google itself. GitHub itself, informing people. If they are putting something sensitive, they send email and they are telling them, okay, you've put something sensitive, remove it. And they don't. So whatever technology you put, the error is always from the human being. It's the human
I think
mistake.
it's what you said before, people will not change, technology will change.
Exactly. Technology changes, people will not change.
So I think we're kind of done with the technical topics here. I hope everyone who's listening has made notes about this, because you have honestly shared so much information and it's been so helpful. And I'm sure it will help a lot of beginners especially. So I hope everyone's making notes. Now we're just moving towards the end. So I'm just going to ask some light questions. So this question is asked by Zishono. What have been your 3 favorite bugs? And they don't have to be technical, just something that made you really happy when you found them.
I believe we spoke about them during our interview here, but I will say my first bug was the Snapchat one, because at that time when I found the token, I didn't understand. I knew it's wrong to have it, but I didn't understand the impact. So I submitted it as a medium or low, I remember. They made it critical and they paid 15K. The second one, it got to be the ServiceNow one, the latest one, because it was on a wide scale of programs. And the third one was on PayPal, with the concept I told you about, to stop the redirect and look before the redirect for endpoints. Those were amazing, not technically hard. You don't use Burp, you don't do this and that, but they were very impactful.
Okay, so what are your views on like women in InfoSec and that community? The ratio is very small now. Women are comparatively way lesser than men. So how do you think we can encourage more women and help to build that community for all the women that are listening to this video right now?
One of the ways is what you are currently doing. Like when you are doing short videos about a specific methodologies, specific attacks, that helps newbies. A lot of people are streaming now, like especially in the Corona thing, like most of people were starting streaming. You look for a value in the stream also. Like you don't just stream with people just to speak with them. You need to have value. By the way, in this community, there is a huge responsibility on the Indian community. I will say that again, on the Indian community. Because if we are talking about mathematics, when you go to Facebook, most bounties paid for India. If you go to Google, most bounties paid for India. I believe the same would be for HackerOne and Bugground. There might be exceptions. So you guys have a responsibility also to share with your people and the other people, because you are rocking in the bug bounty. You are doing a great job.
So one more question. Burnout is something that a lot of people deal with and they get very frustrated. They cannot find a bug, especially for full-time bug hunters. So how do you deal with burnout?
It happens even if you are having a job, and if you don't find a bug for like a week, you feel disencouraged. You feel like you don't want to do anything. For me, I always follow the easy path. Like I just close the laptop. I don't open the computer. I just go and watch a movie or go in the street or go with the friends. I just separate anything related to technology. It really helps if it tries it. If you leave your laptop for 2 days, you don't touch it, then you come the third day, you will feel it's something in you that you are working on. You will feel more encouraged to find bugs, because it happens even for the good ones.
I think that's great advice. Some people find it very hard to give up when they are not finding something, but I think that once you put it aside, you come back with a much fresher mindset.
You don't have to give up if you found something and you feel you can get something out of it. Like I spent sometimes 2 days without sleeping, working on a single bug or a single endpoint. It's hard, but I know that I can find something. But the opposite, if you are not finding anything and you are staying all night, you don't stay with the family, you don't eat well, you are affecting your health at the end of the day. Your bounties will not help you if you affect your health. Like if you get 50K or 40K and you destroy your health, what's the value of the money? You will go and put it in the hospital.
Correct. That's very true, actually. Yeah. Okay, so I think we're at the end. Just a last, any tips, tricks that you want to share with beginners? Anything that we did not cover in this interview?
I believe we covered everything. The best tip that I can give to everyone that they should practice those known type of bugs. There's a lot of resources to do the same. And once you feel comfortable with one of those, start to practice it on VDP programs. Once you feel like, okay, you got the knowledge, the needed knowledge to go on the bounty programs, it's easy. Don't just think, like for me, don't just think, start to do it, like start to hack. Open Burp, even if you don't know how to use Burp, open it. Maybe when you are using it, you will learn it, how it works for the first time or the second time or the third time. Same goes for bug bounty, like reading and watching a lot of videos without practicing means nothing. You should practice, and there is a lot of websites to practice, regardless if it's a points only or if it's just a random test websites or dummy websites for pen testing. If you don't practice, there is no value of any tips or tricks or videos or blogs. You need to practice. You need to practice.
The secret is to not only read and watch videos, but apply those things and actually practice on real-time stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we're done. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for taking your time out.
For sure, I wanted to encourage you, and I will encourage anyone else who wants to do this. This is our part in the community, to share what we know and to share our knowledge. And I believe a lot of others will be also interested to have an interview with you. I will nominate Chloe, if you know her. She's also working with women hackers or something.
Yeah.
She's a nice person to get interviewed. There is a lot of people that they love to share their knowledge. They haven't been on any stream.
Yes.
There's a lot of underdogs that, that you can also interview and get valuable information from. And what you are doing now is good. So I will I encourage you to do the same, and we will be sharing for sure.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much for coming here.
Welcome, Farah.
And that's it. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If any of your questions did not get answered, I'm going to be leaving links down below to some of his other interviews, so you can check it out and you might find your answers there. So like this video if you found this helpful, subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be posting a lot more videos like this, and thank you for watching. Bye.